Hello, Professor Duax, and whoever else may be watching. My name is Angelo Cruz, and my report will be on the Seattle Public Library. The Central Library, to be exact. The Central Library is just one of Seattle's 27 public libraries, all of which boast free, all-access information. Well, I say that it's one of 27, in reality, the Central Library is one massive library, and then there's 26 other smaller branches. While I will consider the Central Library as my main focus of this topic, I do believe that with a system in place like this, books will forever be in rotation. Well, not forever, that's an exaggeration. But they will be in rotation and media will be in rotation to where I will consider the contents of these libraries as kind of one entire thing. It's a really big library, spanning 11 stories and 362,987 square feet of ground area. This photo was taken from its 6th floor, supposedly. For some reason, it kind of looks like it was taken more so from like the 2nd, maybe even the 3rd floor, just looking at the perspective of the building next over. But apparently the official website said this was taken from the 6th floor. It's really cool looking, but who knows? Maybe it's on a really very low slope surface. The modern iteration of this library was built in 2004, having cost $165.9 million. But the library dates back to 1960. The reason for the complete rebuilding was due to the city's progression. The city was evolving very rapidly in Seattle, but this building was still kind of old. But, it made a solid 41 years, which is honestly not a long time. It was a very young library when they tore it down. 1960 is by no means old. Right now it's catching up to 22 years. It's already past that half-life where it was before. Oh, before I move on, I would like to add that it only took them 3 years to build it. They shut it down in 2001, and then they cranked that thing out somehow and very quickly. 3 years is a long time, but for something of that scale, it's impressive. The architects responsible for the building were Rem Koolhaas, and Josh Ramus, as well as the Office for Metropolitan Architecture and Element Architects. That being said, I feel horrible for those engineers who had to actually implement these ideas. I guess there was enough support and everything to really make things work, but it looks like a nightmare to build, honestly. Again, 3 years is impressive. Just saying. Moving onwards, something I found incredible about this library was how involved it is with its local community. It hosts a variety of workshops and events, from certification events, exams, to speeches, to live music. Right here is a photo of, just a cool little section, probably for kids, honestly. Some upcoming events in October. I included this slide in case, you want to, or anyone wants to take a day trip to Seattle. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a day trip. Take a weekend trip to Seattle just for the library, nothing else. We have El Club Latino, which is, from my understanding, sucks. From my understanding, a Spanish or a Spanish-speaking community of people who meet up and read books. Right here we see the book that we are reading this month is Before the Coffee Turns Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. It's pretty neat. We also have a citizenship class. I say we, but you know what I mean. And Central Library. Something I would like to note actually is that this is only an hour and 30. This is 2 hours. They're not crazy long classes, crazy amount of time you have to do. This guy's only an hour and it's a full concert. You have the ladies' musical club concert. Pretty neat. You have art songs, piano, woodwind. Mad respect to woodwinds. I used to be a flute player myself. They also have a baby story time. They actually have a lot of these, surprisingly. I think they host it monthly or so. That being said, at first I had a firefighter story time, which I found much more interesting than just the baby story time. The thing is that it's not being held at the central library, and while I do include a lot of the other branches, like later on I'll explain, but I think I'll stick with the central library for now. Kids 0 to 2, their families, things like that. Registration is not required. A lot of events for families. It's wonderful. They also have the right to read documentary film screening, which, just a film and discussion. There's a lot more. There's a whole ton of events happening. The Central Library is home to a rather impressive 400 computers, not to mention laptops. Well, I said that, I came to realize that it's probably not accurate. Definitely not accurate. The 400 numbers was from a statistic where, let's not go forward, taken back in 2004 when they initially built the library. I left it here just to explain it fully instead of leaving it out completely. I couldn't find a concrete number on how many computers they do have, though. I found this number, 11,000. The problem with that number is that it spans across the entirety of the Seattle Public Library system and includes all electronic devices, from DVD players to computers. It is far too broad, and I couldn't find any other number for it, sadly. But, just on a guess, it's well over 1,000, for sure. The meat and potatoes. We finally got into the books of the library. As of 2021, the library, including its branches, is home to 3.4 million physical prints, 1.1 million media, including CDs, DVDs, etc., 4.4 million ebooks, or e-audiobooks, and 1.8 million streaming/downloadable media. It is a massive library system. There are a lot of books, and they probably still have a lot of space left over. That's the reason I wanted to include all of them again. These books are going to be on rotation, most definitely. Now, something I'd like to bring up is the website. This website is pretty awesome. Whoever designed it deserves a medal. They had great resources, available to students. Oh yeah, something I wanted to mention back here is that this is likely not all of it, because the library also provides other resources, outside resources, such as Canopy, for example, where you can find even more pieces of media and books to look at for free. Now, the website, it has great resources such as Canopy, as I listed above, or before. It has thorough but concise information about, events, things like that, planning, history about its creation, FAQs, things like that. It is intuitive to look at. Well, I wrote that down. There are parts of it that are very intuitive and parts of it that I didn't exactly find easy to deal with. For example, finding specific libraries at first was a hassle, but I eventually found it. I'm saying that it's a really well-designed website and got put a lot of effort into it. Something I actually really liked, I'm pretty sure it wasn't specifically a website, it was most likely the board responsible for the public library system. They have a sort of census where, census is too broad. They record information. They take information from all of their libraries and then put it in one place. They look at, statistics of who's coming in, who's coming out. How are they helping the community? How are they detrimenting the community? They look at reviews from different people and take advice off of it. They are still recovering from COVID, of course, because, everybody got impacted by COVID. Life changer, really. I wanted to just mention that. I think it's very neat that they have all of this information out in the open for people to look at, and they actually listen to people, which is pretty neat. One thing I found interesting in specific was they took information about when exactly people are willing to go to the library, when are they going to be most active, what resources they will be using post-COVID, because there was a shift in what people wanted after COVID. Now, before I end things off, I wanted to just look at a couple more photos. There's this guy just sort of chilling. Thinks he's all that. This really pretty room. And while it's beautiful, you most likely won't get to look at it. I mean, it's a very full place. Actually, it kind of looks like there's light back there. Who knows? Guy just got lucky with taking a photo. One on what seems to be an upper floor overlooking the support for higher floors. This photo I find really neat because from just this perspective, it looks like it should be a museum or a stop. Not a stop, what's it called? A station, like in Britain or whatever. Just a really nice red lighted room. And another room that's, you get to look at the bottom floors and then stairs. There's stairs. Imagine climbing that, the entirety of the building. Awful. That's the end of my presentation. I will end things off because I feel like I've made it a little long. See ya.